So to answer the first question, this is natural gray hair. This is, I believe everyone is thinking about that. So I will only say that IT is too tough. So okay, actually I've been in this industry for digital for more than 16 years. So really focusing on the digital transformation. So currently we are very focused in AI, how we adopt the AI to improve the operation productivity. Okay. So I think maybe we are talking about AI, it will be too broad, but I think today we will be more focused on the generative AI. So yeah, as Stephanie mentions, that back in 1956, actually the AI already being talked about, and then we started about the machine learning in 1997, and back to 2017, we started the deep learning. And so we have the generative AI today. That's why we are here today to discuss about. Okay, so this is what we'll focus today is like, when we are talking about generative AI, it's about the ability of the transformer, actually transformer that you can ask questions, you can input a field line for basically unlimited generative response. So it can be in a sentence, it can be question and answers, and it can be you can even ask the AI to generate an image, and the latest version actually you can generate the video. So I think this is what we will focus today. So as you can see, a lot of things that we can do, but in general, like you can see, like we can summarize the generative AI in a few capabilities. It's about the generation, summarization, and the semantic analysis. So basically, we call it the large language model, that it can understand the language. So he will understand what you are asking, what you are looking for, and he will try to respond with the answer that can address your question or action or instruction. So that's what I said, limitless generation with a few input. And then we will see more in the prompting challenge. Yep. Okay, so about the top 4 capabilities. So as I mentioned, the first one will be the content generation. So basically you can see a lot of companies, they started to use the call center to adopt AI because basically when they got the email complaint, that actually they can use the AI to respond, to prioritize each complaint, each email, and very likely they will prioritize the complaints to respond at priority 1. And this is how the company will use the AI. So they will use some summarization as well, because they need to know, because when the customer came in, send an email to ask questions, they need to summarize maybe the purchase history, they need to summarize the conversation in the past as well to form the response or make suggestions to the customer service officer on how to respond. And the third use case is code generations. Like, it will be more IT focused, but actually when the generative AI can understand the language, so programming language would be the most easy language for them to understand. So for us, like EY, we are using actually AI to write some technical spec, to write some testing case. So actually, but we are still remain at the level to reduce it with review and internal approval. Yeah, and also the semantic search, so we can understand, say, is the customer is angry, the generative AI can tell it through the wordings the customer using. So example of multiple model use case will be end-to-end call center, like I just mentioned. Customer 360 view, so we can understand, say, it's also summarization, but when we put it into the real world, it's about how we adopt the generation, summarization, and semantic search together. And also, the business process automation, say, a lot of companies started, they use the knowledge management chatbot, something like that, because say for the HR, they don't want to answer so many simple questions to say, how can I apply annual leave? Yeah, but and then they are not, they don't want to say, look at the staff handbook. They have to answer it, and each email by each email. So actually, a lot of clients in Hong Kong, actually, they started to use this kind of chatbot for internal use because they don't have any legal issues, right? Because only internal use. Okay, so that's the use case. Okay, so back in more close to the industry, it would be like for contact center, I just mentioned it. So actually, a few of my clients, they started to use the AI to manage the contact center. This is the very powerful use case of the generative AI. IT engineering, as I mentioned, that we started to use the AI to understand the code, write some test case back. It's the most tedious work in the IT industry that we put it for AI and we use manpower to review. And sales marketing, because like the content generation, so maybe there are already some companies in the industry, they started to use AI to generate some, say, banner videos for their promotion, and they can cut some production costs. And as I mentioned, like research, knowledge management is quite powerful. So we can try it out with the prompting challenge. Like, so I think everyone got the poll download in your mobile phone, right? Okay, so the first scenario, like you met the executive of the corporate foundation. So after the networking event, you want to write a follow-up email to ask for the solicited donation and future partnership. So let's try it out first, and then we will have some general tips and techniques to help you to improve the response from the poll. So, okay? Okay, so everyone satisfied with the response from the poll? Okay. Okay, actually there are some, actually, in short, the tips is like you treat the poll like your most powerful assistant that I can answer and do anything for you. That's the most direct way. But in the general tips is like you can start simple because actually you can iterate the response. You can base on the last response to create more content, to revise the response, something like that. So start simple and iterate. And then provide some reference text like the background, why you are writing, you ask what you are asking, and let the chatbot to understand what situation that you would like to ask. And then the instruction, make it very prominent, like classify, summarize, translate. So you give a very direct instructions, like translate the text to Spanish, hello, and then it will translate for you. And to be specific, like you want, say, you want format to be response, you can to be specific in your prompt. Okay. So sometimes maybe the chatbot will return a lot of the response that exceed what you want. Something like you just want 2 to 3 bullet points to address the questions. Like because say in this example, like I just want 2 to 3 points to explain to high school students. I don't need to be very detailed. So to avoid to just make it like ask the chatbot to use 2 to 3 sentences to explain the situation, something like that. Okay, and here actually some techniques you may. Okay, so in general, we are field technique. The first one is zero shot. Maybe everyone actually know how to do it. Just ask the question, and then it will do we call it the zero shot. But the field shot, what is field shot? Actually, you can basically to train I don't say train, to tell with example, just like what I said, the reference. So in field sort, like you want to say extract job titles from following sentence, and then you provide the first example, and then you put the separator, and then you provide the second example, and then third example, and then actually he can understand the pattern and answer in the correct response. So it's like this response, like I leave the last sentence open, and actually the chatbot can answer me with the answer, job title, CTO. So we call it the field sort approach. So that's why I try to voice out about the field sort approach, because sometimes maybe some NGOs want to use the chatbot to write some text for you. So maybe, but you have a pattern in your mind that you want it to follow. You don't want to go around everywhere. But say, when I say keywords use woman, and then I got a specific pattern I want the chatbot to follow. So you provide a field example that we call field sort approach. And then when you provide new keywords, say t-shirt, man, $39, it will respond in the pattern that you provide. So this is the way we call it the field sort approach. Okay. And the third technique will be the prompt insert. So you can just provide like the agenda topics for a presentation. So I don't know what the agenda would be, but I know the first one would be the introduction, and the last one would be conclusion. And then you can just put insert, and it will actually give you an agenda. I wonder maybe Stephanie is using this to prepare for today's workshop. Okay, just kidding. Okay, so this is the way, the first technique, reason over unstructured text. It will be the similar case like the challenge we just tried. So if I were you, I would say I add something new for the chatbot to respond, like the prompt I would say, on Monday I've met an executive, Francis. He is the chairman of the Corporate Foundation. I knew he loves burger and eats 100 burgers a day. Now I want to follow up with him to solicit donation for my charity organizations. Yeah, and then please help me to write a follow-up email and try to use burgers to impress him. That's doable. Yeah. So and then you can read the response like it's so many things related to burger. Yeah. So this is what I said. You just need to provide the syntax. You provide the reference. And then you can just see it as like the most powerful assistant for you to handle everything without asking a question. Yeah. So maybe you guys can try again and see if you got more improved version in your. Okay. I guess everyone got an improved completion, improved response from the chatbot. So I think we are about to move to the workshop. Okay, but before the workshop, I would like to see maybe provide some general tips for you to how to think about the workshop that you are going to work on. So because in the workshop, you will learn a lot of practical skills, techniques that we can use AI. But in general, how you can improve your productivity operations, you need to think about the people and the process. So actually, that's what I'm working on, have been working on, the digital transformation. So we need to understand the people, process at the center, and then to think about the technology, because the technology is only a part of it within the digital transformation. And AI is only a big part of the technology. So when you're going to take the workshop, and then you can think about, oh, this is my operations, this is my process, and this is something new that I can adopt in that process and apply to who and how we can use to improve my operations. Other than the workshops, maybe I can share some consideration. Actually, we shall consider before we are using AI or we adopt AI. I try to summarize in 4 items. So the first one, yes, just some other groups just share, the trust and the accuracy. Because actually, as I mentioned, when we think about it, AI can tell everything, knows everything, but we need to understand the accuracy or if we can trust the return or the response from the generative AI. And the most important issue will be the legal issues. Because on the legal issues, we need to think about the copyright infringements. Because every time when we try to use the response and maybe the image being generated from the AI, actually we don't know the source. And actually there are actual suitcase or already in the market actually happening, like suing the OpenAI company that they infringe their copyright. So we need to consider how we can avoid any legal issue when we are trying to use the OpenAI or the AI actually. And the privacy is more also related to the technology with the accuracy, how if we really understand the technology of the generative AI that we are using, because we don't know, if we don't know where the data being sent, where the data is being stored, it may cause the privacy issue that may harm to your organizations. And the fairness and the bias, because actually the generative AI is more like a large language model that it may get you into some fairness or bias issue. So these are the key things that we should consider before we really take the generative AI as the official response of your organization. I would say we can always use it as your own productivity tool to improve your own productivity or operation. But when you consider to take it official to the public, you have to think about it and consider these key considerations before you make it a end user or public facing interface that you are directly using the response from the generative AI to response to the public. So these are very important because even in the real industry that I would say many companies now, they are actually using generative AI to help their business operations, but they won't use it to direct response to the client. They still have the gatekeeper to review all the response before they send it out, before they proceed to next actions. Yeah. So I think these are the key considerations that how we can adopt the generative AI.